So I wanted to make this video to hone in on the in between time, the interim time before the big life event, right? Before the big move, before the new job. It's the stuff that nobody sees that goes on in the background, right? So for us specifically, we're about 2 months out before the big move that you guys have seen in the videos where we're going to be moving abroad and trying our luck abroad. We have never done it, and we're really excited, yet terrified, obviously, for good reason. It's going to be completely out of our comfort zone, but that's the point because the way that we've been living now just feels like we're on autopilot. And we are ready for change. We're ready for a higher quality of life, and we're doing it. We're following through with it. So that's exciting news. But however, the reason for this video is to kind of showcase the in between time, right? So right now, before we move, what are we doing to plan? What are the types of things that we have to go through and consider when making this move, right? And that includes, financials, that includes logistics, that includes all types of things. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And what I've noticed in a lot of these kinds of videos is that you'll see the end goal, you'll see the end product, you'll see the people saying, hey, we're going to move, and then you'll see the highlights of all the good times. Let the good times roll, right? However, there is a lot of things that happen before then. So I'll kind of go over our experience and maybe you guys can relate, and maybe you can take something away from what I'm already learning to kind of save you some time, right? Save you some of that legwork that you won't have to do. So some things that we're going through, right? So for us, number one is the job situation, right? So we're trying to get remote jobs. Right now, I'm coming to the end of my contract and also coming to the end of the lease where we live. So it's a good opportunity for us to head out and do the abroad thing now because it's aligned. Now, for the job situation, I am in tech and I have a background in computer science. I'm a data analyst. So for me, it's a little bit easier, I would say, or a little bit more flexible as far as the remote jobs that are offered out there. However, what I've noticed is that there are still a lot of good remote jobs. Some of the websites that I've been looking on, and maybe you guys know it already, but it's We Work Remote, Flex Jobs, and there was another one, I think Working Nomad. That was the other one. So those are three sites that I've been looking into. I kind of stay away from LinkedIn. The only thing I do from LinkedIn is just networking, just trying to talk to maybe recruiters or, yeah, mostly just trying to talk to recruiters because with LinkedIn, they put a job posting up and there's a million people that apply within that same hour. So I think you have a better shot at those other websites that I mentioned. To actually get a response back, which actually this time around has been surprisingly going well. I've already got 2 interviews and I've only been applying for like about a week. So it's going well as far as that. Because I'll tell you, before this job, it took me 6 months of applying, and I think it was over 800 applications, dozens and dozens of interviews that never panned out, and it was absolutely brutal. So the job market is absolutely tough, but for whatever reason, right now it seems to be flowing a little bit better. I don't know. I don't have any data to support that, but that's what it's showing me right now. So hopefully, if you guys are on that hunt, that it's going better for you guys this time around as well. So that's what I would say about jobs. So there are jobs out there, and it doesn't necessarily have to be tech. So what I've seen is that there's even, lower entry jobs that pay less, yes. But in this situation, if you're planning on moving abroad, you can afford to take that pay cut because your cost of living is going to be a lot less. So for us, even if we were getting paid, compared to the 120,000, but we're getting paid, let's say 50,000, it sounds dramatic, but it only sounds dramatic if you're living here. But if you're living somewhere like Thailand or Vietnam or the Philippines or a place in South America where that $2,000, $3,000 a month goes way, way, way further, then you're not in a bad situation. Your quality of life is still way up, and you still have money left over, almost on par with what you would have left over here after you pay all your bills. So that's a different way to reframe. When you're looking for jobs, is that you don't have to go for the grand slam. just get yourself an entry job to get out of here, just to get that remote job and get out of here. So that's kind of what we've been focusing on, and it's going well so far. So we'll see what lines up. And another type of job that I know gets a lot of hate is sales jobs, but I've seen a lot of sales jobs that have base plus commission that are fully remote, that you can work anywhere. So just some things to consider for you guys if you are looking for that fully remote job to actually leave the US. These are US based, but you can leave. The next thing that I would talk about that's super important, I think, is eliminating wasteful bills. And that's something that I've really been trying to clean up now. And also cleaning up credit, I think, is really important. I just recently spent like 4 hours on the phone with the three bureaus to like dispute anything that is incorrect or is not validated, so that way you can really shape up your credit before leaving, so that way if you need a higher credit limit or if you needed a loan or something, worst case scenario, you have that available to you. So that's something that we've also been doing, is just cleaning up the credit, paying down things as best as we can too before we leave. So that's what we're trying to do with that. But what I will say that we can be proactive about together is eliminating wasteful bills, right? So what I mean by that, perfect example is me just switched over carriers of phone. I was using T-Mobile for like my whole life. My phone's paid off, and I was still paying like $80 a month, which is a lot of money. It adds up, right? So I just switched over to another carrier, and it's a prepaid kind of situation, but I paid 6 months and it was like a promotion, and it was only comes out to like $15 a month, and it's fully unlimited, same towers as T-Mobile. So it's a no-brainer that I'm going to do that. I don't need the super name brand T-Mobile that's not doing anything different than this carrier. So I would say things like that, subscriptions that you no longer need, that have just been sitting in the background. Let's say like the streaming platforms that you don't need 10 of them, the Spotify's, the YouTube pluses, all those things that are just here to keep us on the wheel, right? To keep spending money. So eliminate a lot of these things, so that way you do have that extra leeway when it's time to leave. So also something that was super helpful that I just learned yesterday is using a travel eSIM. So I have an iPhone. If you have an iPhone, you can have up to two different eSIMs on your phone, right? So I have this one with this carrier, and then when I travel abroad, I'm just going to purchase a travel eSIM that'll allow me to basically have a phone number locally, right? So I can use it for whatever country I'm in and use the internet if I need to get around with maps, or if I need to, call local businesses or go on WhatsApp, all those things that you don't think about right now, right? But that's going to be important because you don't want to rack up roaming costs and pay for those extra subscriptions for your phone carrier, which is super expensive and adds up to use the phone internationally. So doing this travel eSIM is very low costing, and it'll come in super clutch. So that's something that we're doing as well. Another thing that we're doing is that we are downsizing all of our wardrobe. I think that's important to talk about too. What we're doing, I think, is called capsule wardrobe, where you get kind of like three good quality like shirts and three good quality pants, or let's say two pants and three shirts, one all around good shoe or something, boots or something like that to go out. So that way you can mix and match them, and you don't have to, take so much stuff with you. I think you want to, have as least amount of stuff as possible. Which leads me to the next thing, is getting rid of old stuff. A lot of us have tons of things that we don't even use, just little knickknacks sitting everywhere. And I think it's a great time for you to post those things on Marketplace, have a garage sale, make some of that extra money back. That'll go a long way to wherever you're planning on going. And maybe it's a good time to give some to charity, whatever the case may be. So things that we just collect over the years that we think we need to have them, but just be real with yourself. If you haven't used it in 6 months, it's probably good to sell or give away. So I think the last thing I'll talk about is just doing a little bit of homework on the places that you're planning on going. So for us, we've already like joined communities on Facebook just to kind of just get a feel and a vibe for what it's like for different expats that are already living at these places. And you can kind of like already have boots on the ground without actually having been there yet. For us, we're already talking to real estate agents and showing us places in different areas and different accommodations, and also expats that are there and can tell you the rights and wrongs without you having to figure that out for yourself. I think that's super instrumental for your planning, is to already already have these kind of things anticipated, so you're not running into any roadblocks or surprises later down the road. Making sure you're safe and making sure you make the most of your transition and not having to spend extra money for trying to figure things out. So this video is really just to help you guys plan a little bit better, just give you an update on what we got going on. Like I said, we're still a couple months out, but these are the things we're doing now as we get closer to that day. And I hope that this video helps you in any way. If you guys have any suggestions for things that I still don't know, obviously we're learning, please feel free. Let me know in the comments anything that could be helpful. I haven't revealed where we're going yet because I want to make that one a special video. Anyways, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe so you guys can follow the journey every step of the way. And together we can figure this thing out.